This is the Transformers Generation Select War for Cybetron Trilogy Decepticon Exhaust. Well, hopefully it is, because there's really no way for you to find out what's inside. No peepholes, no windows, or anything like that for these Generation Selects figures. And I picked up this figure at my local Toys R Us. Yes, Toys R Us is still alive and well in Asia, specifically here in Manila. And it cost me, well, the price tag says about $30 US. But luckily for me, the Toys R Us I frequent near my house had a 10% discount on everything in the store. So $3 less, why not, right? And, you know, I wasn't about to pay full price for a repaint, redeco with a generic box. And let's just keep our fingers crossed that this is a good figure. I'm really a nitpicker on quality control on the paint apps, and with this new kind of packaging, as which we will see in later releases for Earthrise, it's an opaque closed box, and the only way you'll find out whether you got a good product or not is when you get home and you open it up, or when you open it at the store. Okay, so did we get a good one? I hope we got a good one. Okay. So far so good. And here is Exhaust out of packaging, and this figure actually turned out great. My copy of the figure has a few minor issues, but not entirely a deal breaker. If you look closely at the paint apps right here on his chest, there's a nick right there. Not too bad. I'm just happy that his logo, his bounty hunter logo, I suppose, turned out okay. The visor, the Snake Eyes visor that he has, there's a little bit of scuffing right there on the edge where the silver paint finishes off or tapers off. It's minor details. Some mold degradation, some looseness with the figure, just a little bit. The knee on the right leg, the foot ankle rocker on the left leg, that's fine. You can still hold the pose, nothing much to worry about. The paint apps on his blaster, it's not as perfect as I want it to be, but it's forgivable. Again, obviously put it right up here. But everything else, as we'll see later in his alt mode, so far so good. Everything, the paint apps that really matter so far are spot on with this figure. Now, if you didn't already know, Exhaust is a direct repaint or redeco of the Earthrise Wheeljack figure, with the main difference being obviously the paint apps and the plastic, the color of the plastic they used, as well as a brand new head sculpt. If you want to take a closer look at the head sculpt, see right there. And essentially back in G1, Takara Tomy made the Exhaust figure as sort of like the less than heroic version of Wheeljack, and it's supposed to be the sort of the Marlboro Wheeljack done in these red and white colors. And when they tried to release it in Masterpiece version, they got sued by the Marlboro company, and they had to redeco. They changed the color scheme of the red and white to make it not look very close to how the Marlboro cigarettes were packaged. I didn't really know a lot about this character. He's probably appeared in various literature of Transformers here and there, but the one that's really more popular among fans is Wheeljack. Right now, I can tell you, if you enjoyed the Wheeljack mold, you're gonna love this figure. If I may be so bold as to say, I think new redeco actually does more justice to the mold than the original Wheeljack figure. Now you'll notice a difference in white. This is sort of like a greenish, beige-ish off-white color, which is really akin to the plastic they used for G1, the G1 toy, when Wheeljack was first released. And here's my beat up old G1. It's yellowed out, I know, but if you look, I don't know how to show it. If you look a little bit inside that cockpit, it still retains a little bit of the original color that it had. And when you compare it with these two figures, the Wheeljack figure is the one that's closer to that shade of white. And I think that's what Hasbro and Takara were going for with this figure. Watch Prime vs. Prime's video review of Exhaust. He actually preferred the white color. Actually, it's a more perfect type of white color, and I totally agree with him. But if you're going for the toy accurate Wheeljack in terms of colors, this is really a very accurate depiction of that. However, having said all of that, in the cartoon, Wheeljack was really that eggshell type of white that we see with this version. So yeah, I'll have to agree with Prime vs. Prime. This is in fact the better version of the mold. Transformation, basically very similar, exactly the same as Wheeljack in fact. So if you've seen my video review of Wheeljack, you can just skip ahead onto my final thoughts of this figure. But if you haven't watched my Wheeljack figure, or it's the first time you're watching a video review of this mold, go ahead and just follow these very simple instructions, very simple steps on how to transform this figure. Like this, like that. Go ahead and fold out that roof piece, rotate that midsection of the body, okay, that. Make sure everything's nice and flush. Fold the head inside, right there, okay. Then the spoiler, exhaust bandit. And then what you want to do, you want to tab in these shoulders right here on those slots, just like that. Okay, once you've done that, go ahead and just fold the elbows or forearms right there, and they're going to tab in right there. Okay, there's Exhaust in his sort of Lancia looking alt mode. It's not a perfect representation of the Lancia alt mode that we had back in G1, but I'll give you that. It's looking very sharp, very sleek. I love the deco, I love the Japanese deco right here. A lot of sponsors, decals right there, sort of pseudo sponsors. And I like it. They've obviously decided to change the way the red paint apps look over the white. It originally was this portion was the red part and everything was white, and looked very close to the Marlboro packaging. And as such, they decided to modify the look and feel. And so some final thoughts on this figure. I think it's great. The figure is going to get a 10 out of 10 for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this particular version of this mold as much as I enjoyed the first version, which was Wheeljack. So if you have to get one of these figures first, get the Wheeljack figure first, because that one's a more difficult one to track down. It's actually the more popular one. Wheeljack is a very important character. You must have this figure first. And then when you can, I highly recommend you get the Exhaust figure as well. But if you can do what I did, don't pay full retail price on this figure. I hear in most countries this is an online exclusive, whether you buy it in Takara or you buy it on Amazon, or I think you buy it on Hasbro Pulse. It is an online exclusive. I was a little bit surprised that it actually showed up at Toys R Us stores and Toy Kingdom stores here in Manila. Somehow the local importer and distributor of Hasbro products here in the Philippines found a way to get some stocks from Hasbro Asia. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the Wheeljack repaint Exhaust. Do you think it's a little overpriced? Do you think it's not worth getting? Are you going to wait for clearance to get it? Or are you just going to go outright and hunt for this toy? And as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.